Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Punisher here on a hump day. Hump day! It's good to see all my fine Punisher patriots today. We've got a lot to get to. First, it's only 28 days till the election, but we'll come back to that. Meanwhile, Hurricane Milton barreling in to Florida. Florida has been determined to be in a state of emergency. They have told people to leave the state, and so people are leaving and clogging up the highways and running away, trying to get away from the brutal storm of Milton. Meanwhile, Hurricane Helene still leaving people in shambles across the southeast, with North Carolina hit really hard, but people in Tennessee and Georgia and other parts of Florida still suffering. Crazy. But before we get too far, as you know, the Punisher is sponsored by National Gold Group. I'll be back right after these messages. Bad news. Bank of America clients have sold $7 billion in stock. That's the largest amount since 2020. The first cut is always going to be the deepest, and rate cuts should scare you. But JP Morgan and Citigroup have said there will be 2 supersized cuts this year. So what better time to invest in gold and precious metals? Call America's own precious metals company, the National Gold Group, and if you mention the Punisher's channel, you'll always get best-in-class service from America's conservative precious metals leader. The National Gold Group has the IRA fee waiver program. That means they will pay the fees on your IRA for life on qualifying rollovers. So call 888-598-9909 for a free investor's guide today. The National Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold IRA dealer. So call 888-598-9909. That's 888-598-9909. Welcome back, everybody. Has everybody seen President Biden screwing over Kamala? First, he comes out and says, "Well, she's been involved in all of the bills, everything. She's been part of it." So he's strapping her down to his policies, even though she's been wanting to distance herself. Then, after her little tiff with Governor DeSantis, trying to say she called him to offer some support, and he's like, "What? I didn't get a call. Didn't leave a message. And by the way, Miss Vice President, where have you been the last 3.5 years where I've gone through this every year?" Governor DeSantis is perhaps one of the most organized governors when it comes to dealing with these national or statewide emergencies with a hurricane. He's been doing it. He's on it. He's fast. He's got processes in place, and he makes it happen. And then Biden comes out today and says, "I've been in contact with all of the governors. We are in sync. They've been pleased with the support that I've offered." So what is her problem? Well, I'll tell you what her problem is. She's a dingbat, as shown on 60 Minutes. That guy was grilling her good. She tried to sway off with the answer and give a non-answer, and he came right back at her. He's like, "But the border, but the economy, that's not the question I asked." And she's trying to ask other questions and keeps trying to divert it off to, "Well, Trump did this and Trump did that." See, that's the problem. She doesn't want to answer the question. And she doesn't want to just face it. The facts that the Biden administration, the Biden-Harris administration, have floundered for 3.5 years, and now she's trying to act like she's going to do things on day one that they should have been doing already. So yeah, 60 Minutes was a mess. Meanwhile, Melania is still worried about President Trump's life. I don't blame her. So, yeah, just a point. And guess what? Walz is a knucklehead. Normally I'd be drinking a cup of coffee, but guess what? That is wonderful. That is wonderful. That's some rabbit hole, because we're going down the rabbit hole. Knucklehead. So how is it that we have people suffering from this Hurricane Helene, And this administration is saying it's out of money. FEMA's out of money. They're horsing around talking about this $100 million. And then she comes out and says, oh, by the way, we're giving 157 to Lebanon. What world do we live in where Lebanon, the very people who are part of bombing and killing people in Israel. Beirut, by the way, just had they just attacked and killed a bunch of